Our speaker today is Chelsea Green, and just a few brief notes. She grew up in Bristol. She is a meditation instructor, and she founded the Mindfulness Movement, a guided meditation and yoga class held across Southwest Virginia. And I remember reading in Mike's email that she recently completed a month at a retreat center.
Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to be back. So, I walk in here nervous, but there's a unique thing that happens here, and it's so collaborative. Everyone comes up and talks and shares their joys and their concerns. You put yourselves out there, and so somehow that makes what I'm doing a little less nerve-wracking. So thank you all for joining in it. So I thought that this is the first time I've publicly talked about my time away, and it's really hard. I've had plenty of people ask me, what was this month away on retreat like? My go-to response is, how much time do you have? Because I don't know how to go about explaining this extended time in just a few minutes. So, I wanted to limit myself to about 20 here, and I hope that I do that. I'm going to start by giving you just a little overview of what it was like and kind of why I sought it out in the first place. I was reading a book that you guys know Paul Godola. He had recommended by Cynthia Bourgeault, and it is called Encountering the Wisdom Jesus. And I was taking a hike in Damascus, and out of the entire book, it's a really well-written book, I remembered one point where she says even Jesus had to go and spend 40 days in the woods. Like, he had to confront these temptations, these demons, this restlessness, whatever it was for him. And so I texted my partner the next day and I said, what do you think about me going on a retreat for a month? So that's kind of how it bloomed. And I got there, and I didn't know what it was going to be. I knew that I wanted to limit my cell phone and internet. I wanted to seclude myself as much as I could. I went through probably the first 3 days planning, letting go of a plan, creating a new plan, dropping that plan. And finally I got to the point where I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to let this unfold and just see what happens. I'm going to have to let go of control of it. There were 3 people there with me, Don and Patty, who own the center. And then there was an Irishman named Sal, who is 24, same age as me. So that was really nice to have around too. There was this friend who I felt I maybe had a little more in common with than the founders. So they're going to come up in this talk quite a bit, and I want to give voice to them and their presence there. I thought the best way to really genuinely share was to read from the journal that I took. So I'm going to start with a piece. I say piece, but it was just a brain dump from day 7. A little context for this couple paragraphs. I was working on a commissioned art piece there, and I took the whole first week, finished that, and then I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with myself now. I don't have any projects to work on. So now, without my phone, Netflix, internet, a myriad of books and things to listen to, and just a blank white canvas in front of me, it was like, who knows what could happen? So I start with a quote that I had come across from a teacher who's specifically Don and Patty met with They met each other later in life. They got married. They originally met, though, both of them were working under Adyashanti. So this quote from Adya: "The real, authentic impulse towards enlightenment is something that puts no conditions on what we need to go through to get there." Okay, so that stood out to me at the time because, like I said, this first few days was a lot of, what do I need to do for this time period to maximize spiritual development? What rules can I put into place? How long can I meditate? It was like I really was trying to create some kind of 10-step program for myself. So this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been painting all morning and listening to Adya with a largely empty mind. There's an occasional nod in agreement, as well as the occasional distracting thought, which leads me to rewinding his talk about 30 seconds once I recognize I've been taken. It's been a peaceful day here. Sal just stopped by on his way to the center, and I waved him over. We spoke briefly, and we agreed on a time to meet and sit before dinner. Once he left, I noticed a closing thought pattern come up. He's invading my space. I want to be in control of when we see each other. This is supposed to be my time on retreat. And so on and so on. And I noticed almost simultaneously the feeling of my body and mind change from peace to agitation, from open to closed. But in this light of awareness, his unpredictable visits are actually a blessing. Here I have a dear friend whose well-being I care deeply for and whom I don't want to hurt by pushing away. And my conditioned reaction is to keep him at a distance or the relationship under my control in some way, grasping, avoiding. What's true here is that he loves me. He is a safe place, and the thoughts that would convince me otherwise do not have my best interest or his at heart. So this is something that happens when you put away all of the distractions. You become more sensitive to these subtle shifts that go on in the body and in your thoughts. Something that comes with, almost simultaneously, some discomfort at the recognition of, I'm closing right now. I know better. I know that he loves me. I know that this is a close and welcoming friendship, but I'm still reacting in some way. Day 18. 9 o'clock in the morning. Some context for this. There was a weekend free retreat that Wellbeing Conference Center has every month. I highly recommend it. All you've got to do is to bring a meal to cook for your fellow retreat goers. I just had my second breakfast with everyone. Second breakfast. Some lovely granola cereal with pumpkin seeds and a piece of fruit bread. Not much because I ate past the point of feeling full. My mind was traveling all over, planning an intense workout for later today, limiting the amount of food I'll have at lunch, feeling defensive towards anyone who may be looking at how little I had on my plate this morning, and so on. It's quite ironic. I was just sitting in meditation thinking about how far I've come, which is true, and that I felt ready to just give it all up, all the seeking for approval, the trying to live up to my own ridiculous expectations. Don hit the nail on the head yesterday. Part of his worthy, unworthy game, part of this unworthy and worthy game, is comparing myself to those around me. Sometimes I'm less than, sometimes better than. But either way, I stay trapped in trying to maintain a particular mind or body state, or I'm trying to improve upon it. Two sides of the same coin. We're all just doing the best we can. Even if we know better, there are conditioned reactions and habitual responses that, if left unseen, will control our behavior. This is the pain Adyashanti refers to. It can be painful to know better, but see the same reactions continue. I'm making peace with the notion that this is a healing process. So I've been in recovery from an eating disorder for 2 years, so over 2 years. And this has been a process of recovery, but it was about September at another retreat at the same center that I realized that although I'm not doing the same eating disorder behaviors, I'm not actually acting out on the impulses I have, all of these thoughts are still here. They're still here, even though I know better, even though I have come so far, they're still here. Day 19. I had an undeniable experience last night, like waking up from a dream, as Aji says. And almost immediately came the thought and fear of, I don't want to lose this. And there was concern of how to keep this way of seeing around. But there's an even deeper knowing this morning, that what I saw last night while looking at myself in the mirror was the undeniable truth, often hidden by the mind, but nevertheless always there. It was only love and recognition of my own innocence right in front of my 2 eyes. How could I ever be anything I've made when what God created in me is the source of all beauty and love? Nothing I make can compare, so why even try? I recognized my physical beauty, my blue eyes and dark tear-soaked eyelashes, my vibrant rose-colored lips and my white teeth that Sal is always asking me about. But those are not the things that make me beautiful. I saw God within me as He created me, and almost simultaneously I saw God in everyone and everything. The divine in us all, which has been here from the beginning and will always be here. It didn't come in the package I had expected it to. My mind was trying to compare it with what I've read from other teachers, but I know it was truth that I saw, and that there really is no other way to be in this world. Throughout retreat, my emotions and my mind were just a wild roller coaster. But what happened was even the really painful parts that I couldn't avoid and that I had to feel. It was an opportunity to feel. Even those times that I would be with Dawn and Sal and Patty and we're at the dinner table and I'm just crying, there would be a joy and a laugh that came right out of that too. just being able to see what was unfolding. This last week, this theme has come up twice. Just the old Greek theater is using tragedy and comedy right together. It's like they knew that that is the state of being human. It's a necessity of this balance, finding suffering and also joy.